All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people, just like you and just like me. So Travis Tritt, he's the latest just crazy man, gone off the rails, decided to throw in with the normal people and getting made fun of by Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone, the magazine that got the horse pace thing wrong, and they got the Eric Clapton is playing a concert where they're requiring all of these things, where he said, no, he would never do that. And Clapton hit right back and said, no, they didn't require anything, right? They didn't require full thinged. By the way, to be fully thinged has to be 14 days. You got to be double thinged in order to be fully thinged. And soon to be fully thinged, you're going to need a third thing in order to be fully thinged. Isn't that weird? So they keep changing. You know where I say the goalposts, and people, they're getting tired of that analogy. The goalposts are out in the parking lot. Like Tom Brady doesn't even know where they are. It's a secret. They're in some other country, you know, and it's like, and tomorrow they could be moved again, you know. Well, I don't know if the third one's really effective at this point. Maybe we need a fourth or a fifth. What I would say is don't get together for Christmas. Don't get together for Thanksgiving. It's just dangerous, all right? When you're enjoying yourself and the joy and all of that good sort of chemical reaction is happening in your body, what we want to do is mitigate that as much as possible and put an endless lockdown, which does way more good for humanity than enjoying time with your family. Yeah, and that hasn't worked at all. Just throwing it out there. So in any event, I mean, this is kind of what these people want to do. It seems like they want to control you. So Travis Tritt canceled some dates, canceled some gigs in places that were, quite honestly, a bit surprising, like Mississippi and Kentucky and Muncie, Indiana, which you think might be kind of like, you know, hey, a little bit of freedom over here. Travis Tritt says, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and announcing that any venue or promoter, now we all know our friend Irving Azoff is totally invested in all of this stuff. But, you know, here's my theory on everything. If, you know, the bottom line continues to be affected, like the stuff that's going on at Southwest Airlines, the truckers that are out there that, you know, they want to pick up their stuff, but they're being told, like out in California, you know, your truck is too old to pick up our stuff. They're putting in all these crazy, almost like they're trying to just destroy the supply chain on purpose. Oh no, conspiracy theory, Dave. We all know it's because there's not enough stuff. There's plenty of stuff, but there are restrictions. And well, what about all the boats offshore, man? Yeah, the boats can't come into port because there's nobody to do the work and to pick up the stuff because they're putting restrictions on the trucks. That's why the governor of Florida, even though it's kind of a long journey for the boats, if a ship can go through the Panama Canal and they can make it to Florida, then I would probably advise that they start to make that journey, because otherwise all of this stuff is going to sit in the Pacific Ocean and not get to who it needs to get to. And I'm going way off on a tangent, but this shows us too how kind of lame our economy is, because we depend on all of these foreign imports and we don't make anything ourselves. We should have an economy that is self-sustaining and not just based on, you know, the military industrial complex. Let's start a war so we can make our economy better. Anyway, back to Travis Tritt. He says any venue or promoter mandating the face devices, those are medical devices, or requiring that you do something, that you put something into your system, or pushing testing protocols. See, I love this one, because the tests do cost money. And they'll say, well, if you're not willing to do what everybody else is doing because it's so effective, Colin Powell, anyone? Then we're going to make you take a test. And you're going to have to keep taking that test. Take it every day. I don't care. You have to keep taking it. And by the way, those tests are falsely calibrated in a lot of ways. So many people, he says, are taking a firm stand, this is Travis Tritt again, against these mandates around the country, and I wholeheartedly support that cause. He says, I've been extremely vocal against mandates since the beginning, and he says, this is a sacrifice that I'm willing to make to stand up for the freedoms that generations of Americans have enjoyed for their entire lifetimes. There are plenty of promoters and venues around the country that appreciate fans and the freedom of choice in this great country. And those are the promoters and venues that I will be supporting. Now, that's a shot across the bow at big concert. You know, like they say, big tobacco. This is big concert and the way they do things. And look, my whole philosophy is about decentralization at this point in my life. I think the less government, the better. And the more you can do things locally and have some kind of control over it locally and not have bureaucrats and, you know, in this case, guys in corporate telling everybody else how they should behave or what they need to do. This is the same reason, by the way, the music industry sucks right now, because you've got a few people in high places telling everybody what they need to listen to. All right. And it's called focus testing, focus marketing, however you want to look at it. These large corporations have really made things very bland, very boring. And this is what they want. They want everybody to think the same. They want everyone to basically be non-playable characters, NPCs. That's what they want. So Rolling Stone, a magazine of late who's struggled a bit with the truth, when it came to the horse paste incident where everybody was showing up at the ER and then they had to retract. Oh, I guess maybe that didn't happen after all. They did retract. Some other publications didn't retract. They just stopped reporting it. And this is a tactic, by the way, because it's like the genie gets out of the bottle, right? And as long as people are hearing the information, you know, there are people in the big urban enclaves who say, did you hear about what they're doing in Kansas? People are taking the horse medicine and they're winding up in the ER. And we told them how deadly that is. You know, Nobel Prize thing. It's so deadly. And so that information, because these people aren't going to check for any retractions, Rolling Stone. So Rolling Stone accomplishes their CIA thing. All right. The CIA says, look, Rolling Stone, put this out there. We got to stop these people. They're trying to solve this problem on their own. So Rolling Stone, again, also reported that Eric Clapton had a show in Louisiana. Supposedly that venue was requiring that people do all of these things, right? And so they wrote this article about what a hypocrite Clapton was for playing that event. He doesn't even believe his own propaganda. Turns out that they were wrong, that the venue was not requiring all the protocols. And Clapton even spoke out against it and said that, you know, this is a lie and nice try. So Rolling Stone, their latest article here about Travis Tritt, they say, hey, thanks, Travis Tritt. If I could do the Bart Simpson voice, that would work here. Thanks, Travis Tritt, for accidentally saving lives with your dumb COVID policy. So they're basically saying that because he's canceling some concerts, that he'll be saving lives. Because these rubes that are attending country music concerts, you know, people who like to enjoy themselves, maybe do a tailgate, have a nice barbecue, you know, sorry to be all stereotypical. I love those kinds of people, by the way. Those are the cool people. And they have lots of firearms too, which is a good thing. Anyway, so they make fun of him and they say in the, you know, the subheading here, country singer cancels concerts, requiring the thing and even testing. Holy crap, Batman. He doesn't even want them to be tested. And yeah, that's the story here. They go on and, you know, one of Travis's biggest songs is Here's a Quarter, Call Someone Who Cares. Yeah, that's the attitude That's really the attitude we all need to embrace. And Travis Tritt, good job, buddy. It's good to see that somebody has a backbone. Garth Brooks is like, hey, I'm going to set up a tent at the show and you can go and, hey, you could go do the thing before you. I think Garth started canceling concerts or stopped touring because people weren't willing to visit the tent. Like 5 people went there, and it's like out of like 100,000 or how many, I don't know how many people actually showed up for the concert, like a big number, but like 5 or something went to the tent. So it shows you really where Americans really are, even though you're not being told this, that people aren't willing to just go along with this, and people want to have their lives back. We've done your little cosplay thing for 18 months now, right? We've done it, and it's not a lot of fun, and it hasn't by your own standards. If you keep throwing the 700,000 number out there, is that a success? Is that a good thing? Well, it's because because Colin Powell. And then we had Paul Stanley's guitar tech, which actually that thing is more suspicious to me and more crazy. The guy was only 52. So are they going to come out and say? They won't, because they're so invested in lying. They're so invested in keeping truth away from people. And this isn't just a political battle. This is actually a battle between life and death. Because if I get crucial information, I might change my behavior and do something that would save my life. Or I would say, well, none of these things are going to help. And obviously, if they're not going to help, then I don't want to do those things, because then I'm playing Russian roulette. Why would anyone want to play Russian roulette? Oh, but they're going to tell you some John Hopkins paid off government shill will tell you, oh no, you got nothing to worry about. This is super safe. Everybody's doing it. Hurry up and do it. It's like, I don't want to. It's my body. I don't want to do it. So anyway, again, kudos to Travis Tritt, a normal human being, a country legend, probably will wind up like Eric Clapton in the end. But the good thing about country music in general is that people tend to actually stick up for one another. They come to their aid. They if someone says something, someone else will come to their rescue and say, no, leave Travis Tritt alone. Because there's a certain level of respect and love and courtesy and dignity still in pockets of that particular genre. And in moments like these, I guarantee you there are going to be a lot of other people that come out of the woodwork and say, yep, Travis Tritt is right. Maybe Travis Tritt would be a weird concert. Maybe Travis Tritt should do a couple of shows with Eric Clapton. That would be interesting. And I know Eric Clapton likes country music. He does. I mean, some of his influences were certainly more probably not country, but blues for the most part. But I guarantee you, like Lay Down Sally, come on. It's like a country song almost. So you just never know. Would be a cool double bill. And I'm sure they could both find some promoters that would put them on the same ticket. And I would go see that show. I would definitely go see that show.